All right, guys, so I'm starting a build on this Land Rover LR4 Discovery behind me, and I'm going to have some takeoff parts that I'm going to start working on, but more videos on that coming. But so I also have tires that I have for sale, which kind of prompted me to think, hey, I could do a video about tires. So we're going to go through tires, and kind of this serves as a guide to what's a good tire, what's a bad tire kind of situation, right? And what I'm working with here are these Bridgestone 255 R19s. So usually you'll see tires for sale and it's like, hey, barely used tires, but it's like, okay, what does barely used mean? That's very subjective, right? So we're actually going to go through these here, take a look at them, and measure them using our tread depth gauge right here to determine what's what. So when we're talking about this gauge, we kind of also need to understand what exactly does it mean, right? So I think new tires on a car, and it's going to depend what kind of tires you have. If you've got AT, all-terrain tires, the tread is going to be a little bit deeper, right? But your average tires on an average car are going to be about 10-30 seconds. So if you got brand new tires, all season tires, about 10-30 seconds. And if you've got AT tires, there may be anything from, I don't know, 12, 14, 15, 30 seconds. And then a tire that's worn out that the government deems illegal in some states to drive on the road is going to be like 2-30 seconds, which means if you're doing that penny test that people like to do, I don't have a penny on me, but if you're doing a penny test, if you put it into the grooves right there and you can see, who's that, Washington's head? I think that's who's on a penny, or Lincoln. But anyways, if you can see his whole head, those tires need to be replaced. If his head is partially, barely covered, they're getting close. And if it's like you can't see his head at all, then those tires are extremely good, or you're running ATs, right? Or all-terrain tires. So we're going to go through right now. We're going to look at some of these tires. We're going to look at the tires on this vehicle, and then we're also going to look at some tires on some random vehicles I have laying around just to kind of understand this. So we're going to start with this Black Series camper right here. And this is running Discovery ATSs, and they mud and snow rated. Don't know, but we're gonna check them out anyway. So this is the tire gauge right here, and it's graduated from, you'll see it in millimeters as well, but it's graduated from 2 to 32, and 2 being, you know, you need to replace these tires, right? You can kind of make that out now. So you want to make sure that it's sitting on the 2 ridges like it is right now, right? You don't want it in the actual grooves themselves, but more the lips sitting sideways like so. And then you kind of push down, not like enough to puncture the tire, but or to cause an indentation, which will screw up your readings, but just enough to be able to capture that. And so it looks like here we'd be running right at about 14. So, and these are Cooper what? 265, 75, 16s. All right. If we look over here, I got this kind of just cargo trailer here. Look at that. Push down. And this one shows as just right between that 10 and the 7, so 8-30 seconds. So again, these tires are still good to go. And so onto our Land Rover here, the passenger side tire. Put our guy up here. Zoom in. And you can see both sides are 30 second, 30 second, and 30 second. So if you're not able to see your number right here, you see how it's almost up to the 4, but it's not. If you pan over to the second item, you'll see it's almost right at the 3. So that's right between the 3 and the 4. So if we then tap it on the top, now it's sitting at exactly where it should be, and that's 4:30 seconds right there. Okay, and we'll do the whole car for this one. The rear on the same side, right? And that's 5:30 seconds. And if we go to the other rear wheel, it's going to be a little darker over here. 5:30 seconds. And then the driver's side. $5.30. Another thing to watch out for when you're buying tires is just going to be that sidewall, and you can see this rim here has seen some action. So that's curb damage over here, a little bit over there, and that's just here on the driver's side. If we go to the passenger side wheel, all right, this is in slightly worse condition. You got some over here and some over there. All right. If we go to the rear, there's slight little damage over there and there. All right, and then on this last one here, let's see what we have. We definitely got some damage over here and here. You see this whole rim has been jacked up right here and also right there. So some of these tires actually come with a little lip that can protect your rim, but these do not. And so you just always want to make sure that whenever that happened, you know, it didn't cut the tire or something like that, but it doesn't look like anything like that going on with these ones. And then ideally these tires, of course, since they're a little bit more stout, should be in the front, and the ones in the front should be in the rear, just for safety reasons. The last thing we'll touch on this car is going to be another thing that's important about tires. So yeah, maybe the tires got good tread on it and you're like, it's good to go. There's still one more thing, which is the DOT TIN number, tire identification code. And that's usually listed for any tires, that is, that are made after year 2000, at least in the US. You'll find this DOT number right here, and towards the end of that number, you'll see this 4-digit code. So this here means this tire was made on the 47th week of 2021. Let's look at the rest of them. The 48th week of 2021, that's the same for that one. 4821, and this one here is actually 4721. So why does that date matter? Any tire they say over about 5 years old, and this is going to be subjective, right? If the tire has been treated really well, you polish them all the time, it's been moving around and you are rotating the tires, it doesn't have any cracks in the sidewall, that tire may still be good. May, right? But generally speaking, though, if a tire is over 5 years old, it's in some sort of degradation. All this information is all about the United States, and it's information put out by the National Highway Transportation and Safety, one of those organizations. But we've got another vehicle right here that we can take a look at. Place that like so, push it down, and we're right at about 8, right? 8:30. So, okay, and I also have this tire here at my disposal right now, which is let me see, a BF Goodrich All-Terrain TAKO2. And let's take a look at the tread depth here. This tire is still brand new, so you can see this one has 14, almost 14/32 on this, right? Over here, we got some really old and used tires. And if we were to look at these guys, you can see how it's very important for you to always measure at the worst part, right? Because there's some really good tread over here and there's some really bad tread over here. So this tire would be shot, right? This is going to be a 2 over here, even though it may be a 14 or a 12 over here. That's not going to matter. So that's a bad tire. And then this one here is even more worn out, so that's bad. This here, however, still looks good. It's wearing out pretty evenly, right? And then that's bad. And then the one on the bottom is still good. And these tires, believe it or not, came out of the same car. So it just had a lot of problems and had been abused for a lot of its life. So the tires needed an alignment. It was completely jacked up. So that's why that looks like that. Another thing to also pay attention to when you're looking at tires is going to be the wear bars. So any tire is going to have that, at least here in North America. And if you look at this guy right here, that's a wear bar. So as soon as that's riding flat with the vehicle, right? Let's see where we at right here, right? As soon as there's not a lip anymore in this ridge, this tire is now at 2/32, and that's what that wear bar right there represents, okay? We can look at a different tire here. Look at this motorcycle tire. Maybe not a very good example. Looks like it has a wear bar. Yeah. So this motorcycle tire also has a wear bar, and that's that guy right there. Once it reaches that, that tire is gone. And this is a rear tire. I don't think we can even measure it with this guy because it kind of just folds in. We can do we can do certain things to make it work, but you can see how this kind of folds into the ridges right there. So not the ideal item for that. But those KO2s that we were talking about, if you look in here, there's a wear bar right in there. There's another one right there. And once the tire gets up to that point, it is at 230 seconds. And for most highway reasons, it's shot. All right, so hopefully that helps you if you're out there looking for tires, right? So what you would do with those numbers is you take your 530 seconds, you look at a given tire, and usually they tell you, right? Like this tire is supposed to run for 50,000 miles. So if you've gone through 530 seconds, you do some quick math on there, that'll help you figure out exactly how many more miles in actual fact you can get out of that tire. And that's not even the full story still, right? If a tire is running on a car that needs an alignment, it's eating up the tires in one direction or the other, it's still not gonna be very helpful. But it does give you a general idea of what you're looking at if somebody's selling a set of tires. So hopefully this information was helpful to somebody who's out there looking for tires. Look forward to some more videos coming up on the Land Rover here. Looking to build it hopefully by winter time. I got tires, wheels already on the way in. I'm working on the transmission right now, and that's why it's on the lift, and a couple other things that I'm shooting videos for. So until then, peace.